Marquett, Devon, Burton, the saint and the sinner, giving you lessons from a failure is when you quit. If you keep persisting, you fail your way to success. But failure seems to be a strong feeling that comes all at once, whereas success takes time. And that's why I'm here to let you guys know that on the road to winning, you have to lose a lot. Winners have lost more times than losers have, is that they keep persisting. And that's why a lot of people are not having success. And another thing is that you guys are spending too much of your time watching other people's experiences, other people's memories, other people's stories, rather than being the author of your own story. Every single day is a new story in your life story. And if you're not making any meaning by doing things that are exciting, taking risks, doing things differently, then you're just wasting time. You're spending too much time in entertainment where you're being a couch potato and waiting for someone else to stimulate you. You cannot do that. You shouldn't be sitting behind a gaming console playing video games for hours on end, using something else to stimulate you. You have to be able to stimulate yourself. I know it's increasingly hard during these times of COVID-19, of a changing society, but it's so important for you to take out that time, especially that downtime that you have where you don't have to be at work. You don't have to be on doing an online class. You don't have to show up to your job. You don't have to show up to your college. Use that time towards your goals. Like these little moments that are going by, it adds up. Over time, you're going to look back and realize, holy, a whole year has gone by and I haven't done anything big. And the reason I'm on here, I don't like to preach, guys. I like to inspire you. I like to encourage exploration. But God damn it, some things I got to say straight. Another, the direction that you want to go. So I truly want to encourage you to do more. Get out in the world. Go outside. Stop being all in your goddamn house, on the internet, on your phone, on the gaming console, because at the end of the day, bro, when you put together all those goddamn hours you spent on the phone, what will you have to show for it? When you got all that time on your gaming console, on the telephone, text, what do you have to show for it? You won't have much. And let me let you know, if you're 22, 23, you're young. If you're 18, you're young. Even if you're 40, you're young. A guy asked me, he said, hey, I'm 18 years old. I'm thinking about starting to box. Is it too late for me to try it out? Hell nah. I didn't start boxing till I was 30 years old. And I'm still competitive. So never lose faith in yourself and know that you can always get started. It's never too late. But I'm going to keep it real with you. If you're 18, that's better. If you're 15, that's better. Start the right path today and stop wasting so much of your time. People see me on my phone. Sometimes I'm typing really quickly and they say, Marquette, who are you texting? I'm not texting anybody. God damn it. I'm writing my book from my mobile phone during my downtime. If I'm at a restaurant, I'm waiting for my food, I'm writing my book, I'm utilizing that downtime. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is to pick a goddamn goal and work hard on it. And another thing, double down on what's working. If you found something that's already working for you, it's making you a little bit of money, or it's allowing you to progress towards your goal, work harder on that. Stop trying new. If you got something that's actually working, it's paying you money, it's helping you progress, it's introducing you to the right people, do more of that. Life is not so complex. Life is about getting out in the game, getting out in the world, getting in the mix. People ask me how to find your purpose. You find your purpose through experience. You got to go out and do. You won't find your purpose sitting on your ass in front of a computer or watching Netflix. I promise you, you will not be watching a Netflix show, binging on a series, and all of a sudden find your purpose. I don't want to hear about Kanye West running for president. That's a waste of your time to even tell me that. When chicks tell me like, oh, did you hear about this? I shut it down. It's a waste of time. what I'm encouraging you to do is to really focus on the things that have meaning in life, because your time is running out. I feel sorry for people who are young during 2020, the COVID-19 crisis. If you're 21, 22, 23, 24, you're being robbed of a critical year in your prime, because that's when you have the most energy to do new things, to start businesses, to learn, to be out in this world. When I was your age, I was out like doing internships, experiencing things, protesting, marching, being out in the mix. So if you're at home trapped during COVID-19, yeah, my heart goes out to you. I feel sorry for you. But ask yourself, what in the hell can you do with that time that's meaningful? Even though I'm about to publish the Black Box in a number of days this year, when I was 25, I was writing down the stories of my life because I knew it would all have meaning. I knew my experiences meant something. I knew that not everyone was living life in the very hard way that I was living life. I knew it was special. I don't want you to doubt yourself. Right now, you need to be pushing yourself to the limit, doing extraordinary things. And as you're doing these unusual things, acknowledge how great you are and record your life, because it will have meaning to someone. Maybe just your son, maybe just your family, or maybe you'll be super great and it'll have meaning to everyone, like the book that Obama wrote, or the book that Michelle wrote, or the book that David Goggins wrote. But don't sit on your ass. And I want to let you guys know, sometimes we fall down. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't been to the boxing gym in like a goddamn like 5 days because my wrist is up and I'm trying to let my wrist heal. I went out to run today. It was 103 degrees, and usually it doesn't faze me, but god damn it, I was running slow. I had to keep pausing, keep taking a break. But the point is, I got out there. You need to get out there. You can't sit on your ass at home. Why am I raving and ranting about this right now? Because I get so many questions about how to be disciplined. You get disciplined when you get serious about something. You need one or two sides of the puzzle, which is either side A, I do not want to look at my life and think, wow, it's been unremarkable. Wow, I don't have anything to pass down to my kids. Wow, I spent 365 days this year. And if someone asks me, what did I accomplish in 2019? I can't pick a specific thing because I didn't have a specific goal. I'd rather you fail big. I'd rather you up big than have not done anything. Today, someone was asking me about Bernie Madoff, which is basically a guy who had $1 billion Ponzi scheme, then he robbed a bunch of rich people. I'd much rather have you be a big-time criminal than a small-time nobody. You understand? This life is for living. I don't want you to die before you've lived. Don't sit on your ass at home. Don't ask me how to be disciplined. I told you 1,000,000 times. Pick a goal and work your ass off toward it. And a good way to manipulate your emotions to make sure that you're working hard towards your goal is to think about this. The woman you want, how much more will she want you if you've achieved your goals? If you fail to be remarkable, you fail to achieve your goals, it'll be harder for you to take her out to dinner because you can't afford it. You won't have much to talk about because you haven't done much. Don't you want to be a fascinating man? Don't you want to be able to tell a, yeah, you never been to Dubai, it's gorgeous. Like you can like, oh, you never been to Morocco? Have you ever seen the movie Aladdin? It has that same spirit. Like when you go out to a roof in Morocco and you look out, there's nothing familiar. You can hear the flute. You know that flute that they play when they make the snake dance? Yeah, you can hear that in real life out in Morocco. Like it has beat. Like you can talk about that people haven't seen. Don't you want to be a Renaissance man? Don't you want to live like James Bond? At you guys, but at some point you got to kick your own ass and say, I'm tired of living yesterday, today, and tomorrow in the same way, where I can't tell them apart because nothing happened. I'd rather you guys go spit some bad game at a girl and get shut down than watch her walk by every goddamn day. I'd rather you guys go spit some game at a girl and embarrass yourself than be ashamed because you didn't get the guts to at least say, hi, how you doing? My name is Kevin. You understand? So, yeah, I'm talking because I can't have you guys sitting on your ass. Not when you listen to me. My legacy is one of action. My legacy is of you hearing what I'm saying and taking action. That's why I hated school, because you sit in school and you write down all this stuff and you learn all this stuff that you never use. I only speak to you about things you can use today. If folks have thoughts, questions, comments, talk to me. Avail, my brother, I appreciate you being here. I think I just sent you a note on Patreon. And I truly believe those who hunger for knowledge and seek knowledge and are thankful for it and are enriched by it, those are the men who use it. Those are the men who exude it. And everyone respects and appreciates a wise man, especially when you live the knowledge and you live the wisdom so deeply that you live your life from your brain. That's why I tell people there's no such thing as the heart. The heart is the brain. Your emotions actually come from your mind. If you understand neuroscience, it comes from chemicals in the brain. So sharpen this tool so that you're fully in control. I got so much to say to you guys, but I don't want to just preach. I always want to be here to answer questions, because that's the big thing that's wrong with church. That's the big thing that's wrong with your masjid. Your imam, your preacher, your pastor gets up there and they start talking and they don't listen. I'm not here to keep preaching at you. I'm here to hear what you got to say and what you got to ask, because that's what I want to help you with. I appreciate SJ3. Thank you, brother, for the donation. Man, and I never get a book without reading through the whole goddamn thing. Either I get the book and I'll look at it a little bit and say, this does not relate to my life, and I'll throw it away. If it does relate to my life and there's wisdom in it, I will go through it and then I'll go back through it. Because you only become good at soaking up knowledge through repetition. You only live the knowledge through repetition. A guy asked me, he said, Marquett, you seem to be really good at soaking up knowledge and memorizing it and assimilating it and then sharing it back out. How do you do that? It's no special talent. It's the old-fashioned thing called hard work and repetition. I'm writing my book right now. I get to reflect on my life. And I remember during the summer in Berkeley, in college, I only did 4 things the whole summer. I talked to girls. That's all I did. I went to the gym. All I did. I worked a part-time job. All I did. And then I memorized The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Those are the things. That's all I did. And when I did each of those things, I was highly focused on that one thing at a time. You might ask me, how can you memorize a book? By rereading the over and over again, by rewriting it over and over again, by saying it out loud over and over again. I was in college. I graduated in 2009. That's over 10 years ago now. I memorized the book in the summer before I graduated. That's why to this day, I can quote the Master Sun Tzu. I can tell you the Master Sun Tzu says, though haste can be folly, delay is never wise, which is to say, get that in today. Don't hold back. Get after it. I can tell you the Master Sun Tzu says, attack soldiers in the evening when they are dull and homesick. Right? Which is saying, if you're going to go at your enemy, go at them when they're weakest. Don't go at them in the morning when they're just waking up. They got all their energy. Go at them at the end of the day when they're tired from marching. I can keep on with Sun Tzu quotes till the cows come home. I can tell you the Master Sun Tzu says, you are infinite. You begin and end again like sun and moon. You leave and return again like the 4 seasons. I can go on, and that's 10 years ago. I started to memorize that. Why? The mind becomes strong and hardcore when you make it. There's not a on the planet Earth who was born a genius. I don't give a shit what people say about IQ. Hard work will beat IQ every time. I can remember the quotes because I went over them again and again and again. Why? Because I knew it was valuable knowledge to soak up what the master Sun Tzu had written down for all of mankind. He's called the master Sun Tzu, a master. So why would I be so ignorant and foolish not to soak it up so much that it's tattooed on my brain? I don't get tattoos on my skin. I got many tattoos on my brain, and I can remember it and keep going on quote for quote because it's stuck in there. And how did I do that? By reading it, by writing it, by reciting it over and over again till it wouldn't come out. They say the difference between an amateur and a professional is that an amateur practices until they get it right. A professional practices until they can't get it wrong. That is the intensity you must have. People who are successful in one area of life, high performers, if you watch them do something else, they generally do it really well because they're intense and detail oriented. Elon Musk, his first company was PayPal. Now he's doing SpaceX. Now he's doing Tesla, a car company, a rocket company, a payment processing company. Why? Is it because he knew about all this? No, because he has an intense attention for details. He knows how to create systems and go back through this scientific process of success. It's a process. No one just starts and gets it right. It's very rare, and he doesn't waste time. He's focused in doing things that are meaningful. And I want to let you in on a goddamn secret. People are always talking about do what you're passionate about. Sometimes what you're passionate about does not pay. So I'm telling you to do what pays. Your mother father, Marquett Devon Burton, is telling you, son, do what pays. Because when your ass is broke, no one loves you. As a man, when you go broke, you don't have to support you. You understand? So I'm telling you, do what makes a buck. And let me let you know, if you're a disciplined man, you don't have to love with what you're doing. When you're a disciplined man, you can make yourself love it. God damn it. You think I love running in weather that's 103 degrees where there's no coolness in the shade? Hell nah. But if you ask me while I'm doing it, I'm going to tell you I love it. If you like it, I love it. And also another thing I want to talk about mindset, and I'm going to get to your questions too. I literally will lock myself in my closet. Now, my closet's probably bigger than yours, granted. But if you have a decent sized closet, I'll go in my closet. I'll sit down on my feet. I'll close the door and turn out the lights. And I will visualize stacks of cash money. I like my money in cash. Stacks of cash money everywhere, all over the closet, everywhere I look, money all over the place. I visualize that and I just focus on that. And then I visualize what I have to do to get this money. Because there's certain things I know. If I do this, I get paid. Some of those things I don't really love doing, but I visualize doing those tough things. I visualize sitting at my computer, doing that work. I visualize writing that book. Whatever the task is, I go through it in detail, especially the parts that I don't like. Because just like boxing, that's why I love boxing. It's a great metaphor for life. When you get punched hard, that's when you want to quit. So I visualize getting hit hard by life, getting hit hard in the boxing ring, and I visualize continuing on the path. Because if you've ever started boxing or you look at amateur boxers who are new to the sport, you notice when they take a flurry of punches, they start swinging crazy or they start retreating or they start like wanting to quit or they hit the canvas and they don't get up. A trained boxer expects to get hit. A real man expects life to have challenges. So a trained boxer, when they start taking on punches, they cover up. They know how to block. They expect it. Why? Because they've trained for it. They've been through it physically. They've been through it mentally. That's why I do two things. And knowledge is gold. Because when you read a book, you get to pick the brain of geniuses, accomplished men you'll never meet in your real life. Russell Simmons writes, there are two things. There's prayer and there's meditation. Prayer is when you're asking God to help you. Prayer is when you're speaking to something beyond you, saying, help me out, make a way for me. Meditation is when you're asking yourself. Meditation is when you're saying, I can do this. You're talking to your damn self saying, Marquett Devon Burton, you're a bad, and I need you to get all of your energy together to achieve the following goal. Meditation is when you talk to your goddamn self. Absolutely, you need to pray, but you damn sure better meditate too and talk to your goddamn self. Talk to the God inside of yourself. Let yourself know you're bad. Remind yourself of who you are and demand of yourself that you get the job done. You might pray, that's all well and good, but don't forget to meditate. I always make sure that I meditate, tell myself what to do, give my soul an order of what I needed to get done. Folks, I apologize for turning up too high on you. I just had a lot held in, and this world is spinning so fast with so much crazy stuff. I just want to be able to fellowship with you and really give you some of this game. Let me get to these questions. What time do you wake up? Paras Randahwa. Is that an Indian name? By Indian, I mean from India. I'd be curious, and please forgive me if I've mispronounced your name. Do let me know. I wake up not by an alarm clock. I wake up by my natural body's clock, which is different times depending on when I went to sleep. I do business in different time zones. I got employees in China, folks working for me in Ukraine. So they're way ahead. So sometimes I'm talking to them at 3 a.m. and for them it's, middle of the day. So I go to bed at different times. Generally speaking, I never wake up later than 9 a.m. Never. The earlier you wake up, the better. But let me tell you this. The key is to find out what works for you. Notice, I never tell you guys to be Marquett Devon Burton. I give you guidelines of best practices, and I encourage you to go deep inside yourself, figure out who you are and what works for you. But generally speaking, I don't want to hear this, I'm a night person. I want you to, hey, if you stayed up till 3 a.m., get your ass up early in the morning. There's nothing better than waking up early. It will always benefit you, especially if you're a house guest. If you're staying at someone else's house, you really better get up early. If there's a woman around you, you really better get up early and set the standard. When people show up early, when they wake up early, early is never doubted. Early is always viewed as a good thing. Late, on the other hand, is always viewed as a bad thing. So the earlier, the better, folks. Best way to sharpen your mind is to put your mind through trial and trouble and tribulation and challenge and test. The reason I memorized The Art of War by the master Sun Tzu is to challenge my mind. And you'd be shocked at what your mind can achieve. I see we got guys on the line. Guys, I'm going to add you to the video call, and I'm going to take your question after I finish this one up, brother. But
hey, what's up,
your mind becomes sharp by challenging it. It's simple. So try to memorize a book. That's a great way to challenge it. Be around intelligent people. Engage them in conversation about meaningful things. Learn about something new and complex. That's how you challenge your mind. But I always say, make sure it's goal-oriented. It's related to this you actually want to achieve. Don't do random things. Don't do a crossword puzzle. Say you get really good at crossword puzzles. How's that going to help you in life? It's probably not. Guys, my brother, it's good to see you, man. Thank you for joining. Talk to me.
What's going on, champ? I took your advice a while ago, and I own a couple digital products now. You told us to do like courses and stuff. Mine's just a little different, but it's still in that same world.
Okay.
I'm fascinated by, you went to Korea, and I want to go out there, and I just want to know some details on that. I don't have a B2B business. I have a B2C business.
Okay.
But I'm sure you can put some seeds in my mind, and eventually I can water them and figure out my path to that,
Absolutely. Let me see. There's actually a specific opportunity I want to share with you as well as everyone else that's on the call. But essentially, Korea has an international business competition for startups. And basically, you submit your idea online, and they'll pick different startup companies from around the world, and you go to your closest local city. So if you're in California, it's in San Francisco or LA, and they'll actually, I think in some cases, pay for your transportation to get to that major city. You'll pitch your idea, whether it's B2B or B2C. product or service, and then the judges there will vote on it. The people who win in their locality will then be judged in a national competition for their specific country. You win in your country, then they fly you to Korea to pitch your idea there. If you win there, then they say, okay, we're going to give you this amount of money. You can stay for 3 months, and we're going to basically give you housing and help you go ahead and do your thing here in South Korea. In terms of the Korean business culture, it's very hierarchical, which is to say, if you come in as a guest of the government like I did, and they introduce you to people, those people will take you seriously. They will work with you. They will help you develop your product, do research and development. They'll make introductions. They'll set you up with banking. It'll be very streamlined because the government is so powerful and their culture is so strong that when they say something, people follow directions. There's not anything like here. I'll give you an example. Long story short, they gave me a resident alien card, which is basically a permit to stay there for a long time. But it requires you to take your university diploma to their immigration office, right? But they expect you to have the original. But the thing about Johns Hopkins, their diploma is really big. So I didn't bring it. I just brought a sealed transcript. I showed them my transcript and they said, no, you have to have the real diploma. So I called my contact at the government. I said, hey, I'm here at the immigration office. They're telling me I can't get my alien resident card. And the woman says, give her the phone. I was like, what do you mean? Like, she was like, yeah, just put the cell phone through the little slot and let her talk to me. So I put it through the slot and the woman says, "Annyeonghaseyo." And then so they start talking and then I see her whole face change. She's like, 네. 감사합니다. 만나서 반가워요. 안녕히 가세요. And then she gets off of the phone and she says, Mr. Burton, in Korean, she says, Mr. Burton, I am so sorry that I troubled you. I will get this done right now. Usually we mail out the alien resident cards. I'm going to go file your paperwork right now and I'm going to print it out. I'm going to hand it to you right now. She closed her whole station, went back, filed on my and brought me the card. So this was like basically what would have been a multi-month process that she did in 10 minutes because the person on the phone said, hey, I am the minister of, it's called NIPA. It's like the National IT Promotion Agency. She's like, I'm the minister of NIPA and you need to do this. Which is to say, imagine in America, if someone was on the phone and told somebody in the DMV or something like that, like, hey, I'm the head of commerce or I'm the head of the chamber of this, you'd probably laugh, right? Like you wouldn't believe it. But in the culture, you don't lie about who you are. You don't lie about your status or your position because it's such a trust-based society. So anyways, that I love about the Koreans. They're so respectful. The women are so feminine. And also one thing I want to advise everybody on this call right now to do, anytime there's an opportunity, whether it's applying to college, applying to a job, applying to something like this, and check out this link right here. I think that's the right one. Even if the deadline has passed, I want you to ask the person who's running it, reach out to them and say, hey, I know the deadline's passed, but I'm very interested. Is there a chance I can still apply? Because one thing you will find out is that the door opens to those who knock. Don't forget to knock. So check out that link I just put in the description. And that one will go straight to the website for the opportunity. As you'll see, it's a dope program. First prize is $120,000. Which is dope. And they give that to you with no equity. It's just basically a gift to you and your company to build your business in Korea. How do I quit an addiction? Oh boy, we all have many addictions.
45 minutes.
I've been on for 45 minutes. I'm being warned that I need to get off. So let me wrap this up in 15 minutes. I try to keep these things under an hour. It rarely works. They're all variety of addictions: addiction to sex, addiction to gambling, addiction to drugs, addiction to alcohol, addiction to wasting your goddamn time on Netflix. Number one is to get help. I really want to let you know that if you have an addiction, I don't care what kind of addiction it is, you need to get professional help. And the reason that I say that is not because you don't have willpower. It's because the person that's addicted is you. So if you've already succumbed to your own desires or your own human frailty, you need someone outside of yourself to help you out. And I want to let you know there's nothing wrong with getting help. I'm always asking for help. I asked for help earlier today in writing my book and editing it. I asked for help today in designing this garment. Always ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. Real men know that you need to ask for help to thrive. We are on this world to support one another. So how do I quit an addiction? Get some help. And by the way, there's a lot of free help. I don't care what kind of addiction you have, there is help out there for you. When is the book coming out, brother? That's a good question. I told you guys how many days I had left. Let me know how many days I got left, and that'll be the day that this book is due. So I know somebody wrote that down. Any opinions on drop shipping businesses? I want to start one soon, inshallah. Legend 7, I don't even know what drop shipping is, so I have no advice on that, but let me know. Shoot me a DM with a little info on it. I'd be happy to learn. So you're saying hard work, you can hard work your way past someone who has natural talent. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As long as they're not outworking you. If someone is working harder than someone with natural talent, yeah, they're going to get passed up. Think about it. All the things that you want to thrive in business, most people don't have natural talent in business. Boxing is not about natural talent. Boxing is about discipline, heart, desire, toughness, ring generalship, IQ. Can someone outwork Michael Jordan? Absolutely. Can you train yourself to be faster? Absolutely. Is he the best at everything? Shooting, dribbling, driving, jumping, dunking? No. He doesn't have natural talent in all of those areas. So what you're looking to do is to outwork him in the area that's going to be most effective for you defeating him. The master Sun Tzu writes, quote, "Victory is fashioned from the dynamic of the enemy." Victory is fashioned from the dynamic of the enemy, meaning that you will win by studying your enemy and finding out where they're weak. We're all human. We're all imperfect. They're weak somewhere. Jordan is weak somewhere. I believe there's a documentary called Winning Time with Reggie Miller, and it shows him stunning on Jordan. I think there's also a video clip you can see Allen Iverson stunning on Jordan. I think there's many clips you can see of people dominating Jordan in a given moment. So yes, hard work can win. Yeah, Musk is a smart guy. I agree. That's correct. It's all about that consistent discipline. And the key to being a disciplined man is that you're able to get your emotions in check, because discipline's about doing all of the necessary things on a regular basis. In fact, Muhammad Ali had a quote where he says, "I don't start counting my sit-ups until it starts hurting, because those are the ones that count." You see what I'm saying? It's a difference in mindset, that you're willing to put yourself through the suffering and through the pain. Discipline is hard. The reason people are great is because they separate themselves from others by doing the things others won't do. And that's what allows them to have the good rewards and fruits that others won't have. And as Jabrizi Magic said in our last call, he said, you cannot cancel genius. You don't wake up genius. I can assure you, Elon Musk is not special. I will bet your ass that Elon Musk and Albert Einstein have spent many, many hours in study. And I bet my ass that if you studied long and hard in the same topics, you'd be just as sharp. I feel that, but I made a buck till I could do what I was passionate about and not have to worry about money. Hey, brother, we don't all walk the same path. You got to do what's working for you. And that's the key. Do what makes a dollar until you can do what you really want to do. That's the only reason we try to make dollars. If you didn't have to make the dollar, we would all do what we really want to do. Me personally, I do what I want to do every single day. Most of it are things that don't make a dollar. Like right now, I haven't made any dollars. I actually shout out to the person who donated, but this is not a money machine for me. But what it is a joy machine. What it is a legacy machine. Like, I want my name attached to you guys. Just like when you have children, your name is attached to them because what you have taught will stick with them and they will thrive by your lessons. I want you guys to thrive by my lessons. I want to be attached to your successes. I want you guys to win and mention my name in your book. I want the millions of people who read your book to read my name in your story. So when you're winning, I'm winning. So absolutely, this is something I want to do. And I can do this because I've gotten taken care of the basics of making a basic living. So you're right. You do have to take care of the basics and then you can do what you're passionate about. But I encourage you to always do what's profitable. Never let that go. Do what pays. Absolutely. One of the best channels. We appreciate the game. Thank you, my good brother. Yes, this is Paras. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale is a classic in human development and self-help. Earl Nightingale is very old school. I really enjoy his voice and his tone. And if you haven't heard of him, write down the name Earl Nightingale. He is one of the originators and gives great advice. What are the best cities to live in? Drippy B, it depends on what you like, my brother. If you like Black women, you got to move to Atlanta, right? If you like to sleep with women on the first night, you got to move to San Francisco. So, it depends on what you like. Me personally, I like Las Vegas because it's a 24-hour city and I'm pretty much up working 24/7. So it has a lot of the things I like. There's no good ballet here, but it does have a lot of other amenities, great shows, whether you're talking about comedy, music, some of the best restaurants and hospitality in the world. So depends on what you like. King Killy, that's right. It's called Case Startup. So I encourage you guys to check that out. And that is a great opportunity to put your idea out there. And even if you don't have a developed idea, fill out the application so you know what the requirements are of submitting your business idea. Everything should be a process. Put Baltimore as a depressing city. Every city has its rich and its poor, whether you're talking about Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, you would find people who are desperately poor. You also find people who are fabulously wealthy. I saw cats driving those big body Benzes in Addis Ababa, and I saw mansions in Tanzania and Africa. Baltimore similarly has places where there are a lot of abandoned homes. I described this in my book, but it also has the waterfront area, and it has Fells Point, very nice places that I went to party. Great bar scene, waterfront property, gorgeous restaurants. So it's a lot of things. Beware of fake religious people. I agree with you there. And one of the major reasons that I am forwarding the philosophy of the assassin is not because I think that I'm smart. I don't think that I'm any smarter than anyone else. It's because I know so many people who have been disheartened by religion, not so much by what is written, but by how people behave. And one of the basic practices in the assassin philosophy is that when you sit down to have a meal, you should always ask two questions. Firstly, before you eat, you should say, what are you thankful for? And I had the good privilege to sit down with Jabrizi Magic, who's one of our patrons. And we sat down for lunch here in Las Vegas, actually. And I asked him, what are you thankful for? Why? Because we want to be in a state of gratitude, reflecting on the blessings and the good things in our life. And there are always good things in our life. And then the second question, which I did not ask Jabrizi, but you should always ask yourself this question. Or excuse me, ask yourself and ask the person you're sitting with during the course of the conversation at dinner. What is one thing, at least, that someone else has thanked you for doing for them that you were not paid to do? Meaning that, how have you helped someone? And the evidence of that is them thanking you, meaning not that you were getting paid to do it, right? Like I could say, like, I help people all day, but if I'm getting paid to do it, it was a requirement. It's a function of my job. So the question that a saint should ask himself and ask the person you're having a meal with is, tell me about one way someone thanked you, or a reason someone thanked you for something you did for them that you were not paid to do. And that will make us conscious of always trying to serve our fellow man and do something good for someone else. That's how we need to be oriented. And when you do something good for someone that's meaningful, they will thank you. If they didn't thank you, it didn't hit them hard enough. You need to be even more kind, even more giving. And that's really what we want to push. And we want this to be so simple that it's easy to share with people, it's easy to explain, and it's easy to live. Most people don't live their religion. in the sass, and I want you guys to go out and live as saints. I want people to look at your behavior and listen to your voice and observe your actions and listen to the questions you ask them, and they can tell that you're oriented on goodness. That's what I want for you. And that's what I try my best to practice myself. And obviously, like you, I am imperfect. Oh, Cohen, talk that talk. You're right. The brothers in the Arabian Peninsula are doing very well, and there are many Muslims starving around the world. I will not say that it's everyone's responsibility to pour out their bank accounts on those who are less fortunate. In some ways, some people have left themselves in certain situations. If you're in America and you're poor, you're probably lazy or your ass is not focusing. When I say poor, I mean that you don't have enough to eat. Very few of us are poor. If you can't get the new Jordans, you're not poor. If you live in a ghetto, trust me, it ain't that bad. I grew up in a ghetto in America. You go to a ghetto in Tanzania, my boy, where people are walking around missing limbs because of birth defects that result from diseases that we don't have in America because we have, like, we're inoculated against it. They're still suffering diseases that are, like, to us 100 years old. That's a ghetto. That's poverty. In America, people who are poor here would be rich in other countries. So, we always have to be conscious of our blessings and thankful. But you're right. There are a lot of Muslims who are not showing love to other Muslims. If you, in fact, even look up Osama bin Laden, who I don't support at all, but I will say one of the things that Sheikh Osama bin Laden did say about the Saudi Arabs is that they were not living according to the religion, that they were living in Western ways. They were living in ostentatious ways, buying all these goddamn Ferraris and, living in sin and all of the ways that are antithetical to a religion that's based on simplicity. So no matter who the source is, whether it's Hitler or Gandhi or Osama bin Laden or Gaddafi, people should be listened to, and you have to judge their message by the truth of its words. Like you can't prejudge it. A lot of us are getting lost and we're not willing to listen to the other side. You always have to weigh everything. That is the mark of a wise man. Question. I've seen women in my life who say they love a man just to get money from him. How do you spot these women? Ooh-wee. King Killy, I have a video called How to Stop Women from Using You. And I believe it speaks directly to this question. So do check that out. And that's why I got that catalog. So I can just say, boom, check out the video. I will say this, though. A wise man believes in contribution. Nothing in this world is free. That's why I always appreciate the donations, because it shows that the saints on this call appreciate my time and my investment in you. Now, many of you guys are patrons. You pay monthly. And so I love to see you here and answer your questions. And I appreciate that. With a woman, it's the same thing. You might take her out for dinner once or twice, but eventually she needs to come out of the pocket, right? If you find that she's not making her contribution, then that's a woman who's trying to use you. And that should be very clear. The only time you can't see that is if you're not using your brain, right? If your emotions are flooding your brain and impairing your reason, then you will be crippled and blinded. Let's see. I hope you keep talking about these kind of topics. I'm loving it. Thank you, man, for the great knowledge. Alf, I appreciate that, brother. I'm often anxious about talking about things like this because I know a lot of guys are so focused on women. And to me, women in general, as a general concept, have very little value. What has more value is me achieving things, or teaching you how to make $1, because $100 is going to be valuable today and is going to be valuable tomorrow. Your relationship with Becky might be valuable today, but she might leave you tomorrow, right? $100 is not going to jump out of your wallet and run away. So I'd rather teach you how to make $100. I'd rather teach you how to be spiritually developed so that when things are going wrong outside of you, you're spiritually developed enough to sit down in meditation or sit down in prayer and get recentered. So thank you for validating me and bringing you this particular type of knowledge. Is pimping a sin? Well, it depends on which book you're looking in. If you're looking in the Christian Bible or the Quran, sin is a religious concept for the most part. So that's something that you would have to go to your particular religion and define it based on that. How do you get over being so obsessive about superficial things such as one's looks? Zane, are you talking about your own looks or the woman's looks? One thing I truly believe is that reading is like prayer. If you read a lot about the things and the mindsets that you want, it'll be easier to imprint it. If you discuss it a lot with people who are going in the same direction, it will help you move in that way. So, for example, when you look at these polygamous cults that they call them cults, where all the women are willing to share the same husband, it's easy for them to do that because they're socialized. They're in a community that believes the same thing. So I advise you to get into a community where people believe the same things. I can tell you, me personally, I don't invest a lot into my own looks. I really don't care. And I don't invest a lot into women's looks because I know that the woman who's beautiful on the outside is often ugly on the inside. And that's because the world has been too kind to her. And as a result, she's been able to behave in a unimpressive way and still be treated nicely. And so that's why the most beautiful women on the outside are rarely the most beautiful women on the inside. Favorite brand of sardines are called Wild Caught. Um, Great sardines too. Where's the beer pimping? You know what? I find that this is the look that suits me most. But the beer does come in every now and then. How do you use your journal? Good question. You know, I wouldn't really so much call it a journal. This is my last one, actually, and I plan to not use these anymore. And the reason that I use this is primarily for notes on all of my business projects, my random thoughts, things that I need to remember. And a major piece of knowledge that Russell Simmons gave is he said, if you ever have a thought that you think is genius or remarkable, as soon as you wake up, write it down. Don't go brush your teeth and have a coffee and all this stuff. He says, write it down immediately. So I always have a sense of urgency in general, and especially about good ideas, or if I think of how I want to state something in a very articulate way, I'll write it down in here. But I'm actually planning to move away from this and continue storing everything in my mind. You can write in the mind, but you have to take out time in silence and focus and really think and visualize what you're writing and go over it in your mind until it's cemented there. Just the same way that I did with The Art of War by the master Sun Tzu. For example, I can give you quotes to the cows come home. The master Sun Tzu writes, one peck from enemy provisions is worth 1,000 carried from home. One peck from enemy provisions is worth 1,000 carried from home, which is to say, when you're on a military campaign, if you can steal one nibble of food from your enemy, that means not only are you feeding yourself, you're making sure that one of their soldiers goes hungry. So one peck of their food is worth 1,000 pecks of food that you would bring from your home country. You see, why can I recite Sun Tzu randomly? Because I took out the time to stuff that in my brain. And that's why I'm going to get rid of my journal, because I want to keep everything journaled in my mind. My good brother, how are you?
Oh, good man. How you doing?
I'm chilling, brother. I'm chilling. Thanks for joining. What can I help you with?
Yeah, so I've been going to school. I've been going to college, and I see like YouTube videos of like entrepreneurs saying, "Oh, well, you should quit school because it's useless, like you're wasting your time in there." So I've been going back and forth for like months, like should I quit and just start like my business now and like so I'm just trying to figure out like should I just quit school or should I just keep going and then just finish out my degree?
Good question. So there's a couple pieces to it. And I can tell you, when I was in university, I thought about quitting a ton of times. especially around midterms and finals, right? When you actually got to do work, I really wanted to quit. The number one thing is university can serve different functions. So, one, if you don't come from a well off background and you don't have a network, a lot of these folks who tell you, oh, you don't need school, you can quit, be an entrepreneur. You got to remember that. Look at Gary Vaynerchuk. He can say, oh, college is a waste. Well, his father was an entrepreneur. His father owned a business. His father passed that business to him. He already had an inroad, you know what I'm saying? So his perspective is very much so focused on his perspective, not realizing what you may be going through. Me personally, I didn't have any family connections. Most of the connections that have helped me in life are people I met in college, right? So it was a great networking tool for me. Further, if you're getting a legitimate degree, accounting, finance, chemistry, computer science, biology, pre-med, all of these things that translate to real jobs, help, mortuary science, welding, any of these things, those are good, solid degrees. If you're getting a degree in English, political science, African American studies, well, yeah, sociology, maybe you should rethink your degree. But maybe if you're looking at social work, for example, that degree is actually a solid degree. There are a lot of jobs that require social work degree, and you can work for the government. So those are all things you really want to consider. What's your degree in?
It's in audio production.
That's a real job, right? Like sound engineers, that's a real job. So these things are all practical, but you want to do things that you're really passionate about. And the challenge with college is you're a young person, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You might not have enough practical experience to go be an entrepreneur. You might not know enough to start a business. That's quite a bit to ask somebody to do at age 22. So at that level, college can be useful for you to get experience, for you to meet people, for you to network. But I can tell you, if your gut is telling you, your name is pronounced Jelani?
Yeah.
Jelani, get out of here. Jelani, I hate it here. Jelani, this is not for me. Get out of there, get a job, work that job until your brain tells you, hey, this is the direction. If your gut is telling you, get out of here, you can always go back to college. Don't force it if it's not there for you. If you don't have anywhere better to be, go to college.
All right.
What else? What other questions, comments can I dig into for you?
Really that, and just because sometimes like like I'll go out like with a friend and stuff, and like I'll carry like a notebook with me, because like I like having like a notebook with me to carry around. And like they'll say like, why are you bringing a notebook to the club? And I'm like, well, like I want to know, I want to like, if I have an idea, I want to write it down, like, because I'm like I have to
in here.
And it's like and it's so sometimes it's like I'm wondering, well, I don't know if I should be around this friend, because I'm so passionate about like writing an idea down, and they're telling me like, don't bring your notebook to the club. So I don't know what to do there. Like, what my question is like, when is it that when is the time that I should like not be like, when can I tell like to be friends with someone or not?
Good question. So 3 things. Number one, I'm glad that you're being yourself. That's the key to life. Be who you really are, no matter who has anything to say about it. Number two, you will come to be known by your merits, and you will come to be known by your deeds. And it's a good thing to be known as the guy who wants to take notes and wants to be studious. So I commend you for that. People will always criticize genius. People will always criticize that which is different, unfamiliar, or hard to understand. So expect more of that. If people crack jokes, that's fine. Black folks love to crack jokes any goddamn way, right?
Yeah.
Latinos love to crack jokes anyway, so that's going to happen. But if people are holding you back or discouraging you, That
Yeah.
is something to stay away from. And you want to put people in three categories: expanded association, limited association, and no association. Expanded association, these are people going in the same direction. They have similar goals. They're ambitious. They're pushing you forward. They're inspiring you. Limited association are people, hey, I'm related to you. I got to live with you. I knew you since I was 7 years old. You limit your association. You maintain the relationship positively, but you surely don't expand it. No
Mm-hmm.
association are people who are dragging you down and who are negative. You don't have to tell them, hey, I think you're a dirtbag. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You just need to stop responding. You just need to be very brief when you do respond. They'll get the picture. But keep, stay positive, stay saintly, but limited. So
Mm-hmm.
category one, expand the association if you're going in the same direction. Category two, limit the association if they're just there. There's someone you love, someone you care about. They're not helping you grow, but they're not hurting you. Limited association. And then no association if they're being a damper on your spirits and your goals.
Man, that helps so much. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Cause I watch it. I watch these videos and they just help inspire me and just give me like a different perspective on things. So I really appreciate the feedback, man.
Hey,
For
brother,
real.
it means everything to hear that you are 100% while I'm doing this work, and I so much want you to be successful, and I want to hear your story. I want to hear in 2 years you say, "Hey, man, I completed a degree in audio engineering or whatever the case is," or "Hey, I dropped out of school. I worked 2 years in this job, and now I'm doing this, and I'm excited about it." Or "Hey, I'm on my journey in X, Y, and Z." As long as there's progress and as long as you've been taking risks, as long as you're trying hard, you'll get there. So thank you for calling in, brother. Thank you for sharing the kind words, and keep the whole community updated on everything.
All right, man. Take care, man.
Peace, brother. Cohen Davis, that's correct. A lot of Ethiopians have been victims in Saudi homes. There's a lot you can see on the internet about that. It's very unfortunate. But it's also unfortunate that the Ethiopian government would even send them to Saudi Arabia to work in that capacity. It's unfortunate that the Ethiopian government is being controlled by the Chinese so much. Venice C, my good brother, thank you for joining. He's referencing 1984, which is an older book that was produced about a future time. It was written before 1984, and it was predicting that Big Brother, aka the government, would be spying on everyone, which today has largely come true. I definitely try to live my life as assassin or an assassin, meaning to leave very little behind and to require very little, to leave a small footprint, to be hard to trace, to be able to live on the minimum. The more addictions you have, the more needs you have, the more you are a slave, the easier it is to control you. He who has few attachments to this world, few attachments to material, few attachments to people, that is the human being. That is the man who is hard to control. So if you don't fear poverty, if you don't fear hunger, if you control your emotions, you are very hard to control. So a lot of people today are being manipulated by fear. If you can scare a person, you can get them to do anything. If you can scare a person, you can get them to wear a mask. If you can scare them, you can get them to stay home. If you can scare them, you can do anything. So my people, I encourage you to be brave men who have your emotions in control. How do you stay focused and let go of all distractions? Well, the question is, how bad do you want it? Sometimes you get tired of being broke. Some people say they don't want to be broke, but they don't hate being broke. When you start to hate being broke or hate being not famous or hate having, no women, when you really hate not having women and then you fall in love with having women and you activate your emotions around getting these things done, meaning getting the women you want or getting the money you want, and avoiding the brokenness and avoiding being lonely, when you get passionate about that, it becomes easy to avoid distractions. It becomes easier to be disciplined, but you got to be obsessed about it and you got to be psychotic about it. People will look at you and think that you're weird or strange, because you're not being an average person. But look around. To be average is to be broke. To be average is not to be successful, right? So you have to be comfortable being different. You will never be a true winner until you're obsessed. Look at Michael Jordan. He was obsessed with being a winner, and he forced his teammates to get onto his page. That's the key to success, is going above and beyond. Not only above and beyond other people, above and beyond what you've done in the past, above and beyond what you've done yesterday. You have to have the passion. And the truth is, you're never going to be successful until you really want it. There's no one who really wants it that doesn't have it. Everybody who really wants it, they have it. They stick to their principles. They stick to their daily disciplines. They go and do their runs. They do their daily reading. They do all the things that lead up to success. Success is not an accident. Success is the result of you consistently doing the right actions. I often find that girls care less about looks when someone is passionate about what they do and dress and conduct themselves well. Do you believe this is true? Absolutely. What you guys will learn, and this might sound crazy to you, but one day you'll understand. Experience will give you vision. Sometimes wise or older people might tell you something that you don't understand. Even today, I'm still coming to understand things my grandmother told me when I was 8 years old. It just now started to make sense. But I can tell you that when people look at you, they don't only see your exterior, they see your spirit. When you smile with your spirit. When you are a developed man, when you are in good physical condition, when you are eating healthy foods, when you are living a saintly life, when you are leading with love, when you are pouring into other people, when you are truly interested in other people, it will have an impact on how they see you. For example, I told you that when I have dinner with someone, I always ask them, what are you thankful for? But guess what? If they don't ask me back, I don't tell them. Why? Because I'm more interested in being a listener than a talker. I know you might think I'm a talker because I'm on YouTube talking to you. But when I'm in person, I try my best to be a listener if it makes sense. So when I sit down to have a meal and I ask someone, what are you thankful for? If they don't ask me, I don't say. Not because I want to hide anything, but because I'd rather be a listener of what they have to say. And I'm not going to be so arrogant to assume that they want to hear me talk about what I'm thankful for. Why? Because most people are interested in themselves. And me, I also want to be interested in them because that is the saintly position. To be self-interested is not saintly. To be self-interested is not going to get you very far in this world. You need to be self-interested when it comes to pursuing your goals and taking actions toward them. Not when it comes to babbling. Words have very little impact. Actions have tremendous impact. Appreciate it, my brother. I'm as well glad that you found the channel, and I find that there's a beautiful attraction that occurs between a teacher and a student, or knowledge and a seeker. You attract that which you are. You all are here because you're knowledgeable people seeking to gain more knowledge. You're not here by accident. So for all of the saints who are gathered here and who compose the Saint Center Nation, I appreciate that you guys are here. And I think that we all will be enriched by one another. And so I'm always happy to see you all sharing knowledge, because I'm not the only person in this meeting or this congregation right now who has knowledge. Brother Kevin Hayden writes, should I choose another language based off of what I like or how much it will benefit me? Which would you learn? Brother Hayden, I would certainly choose the language based on what will benefit you. And I can tell you one of the good things is that English is good all around the world. Now, I will tell you, when I was in China, I was a guest of the government and they were escorting me around. But in China, English is not widespread. You will have a tremendous amount of difficulty maneuvering through China without an escort. You definitely will be using Google Translate. So everywhere else, you'll find a lot of people who speak English, whether you're in Latin America, you're in Africa, you're in different parts of Asia. English is very widespread. Generally, if you were to pick a language, I would pick Mandarin, because the Chinese are going all throughout the world and coming to dominate much of the world economy. So Mandarin would be a great one. Spanish is very, I'm not going to say it's very easy, like I'm a master of it, but if you wanted something that's easier to pick up, Spanish is one of those languages. French, I found that when I was in Morocco, French would have helped me a lot, but it wasn't absolutely necessary. So that's how I would go about that. But also remember that, when you're learning a language later in life, you will not you be unlikely to earn a job that's going to hire you based on your language skills because they won't be as advanced as that job will probably want. So you're probably doing this for your own personal edification. So all the same, I'd go for a language that's going to give you that range, and think about what's practical for you and what kind of work you'll be doing and where you'll be working. If you're going to be working in the United States, Spanish is a great language. It'll allow you to get in a lot of doors. So I highly recommend it. If you're going to be working internationally, I'd go for the Mandarin, unless you know which region of the world you're going to be in. I wonder what Marquett would do if AMS pulled up to the stream. Well, it'd be good if he'd pull up to the stream. Then he could get some of this game from the master. Because one thing I will tell you, and this should be clear to everyone, I have the most game on the internet. I might not have the most game on the planet Earth because there's some OGs who are so old they don't even mess with the internet, right? Like there are old pimps that don't even mess with the internet who could just talk game to you for hours and hours and never have to stop to think. But as far as me and AMS, he needs to be on this live session so he could get some of this real ism because his game came from books. My game came from ancient sources. You dig? My game came from managing hundreds of gorgeous women. You dig? My game came from old hags. And I've been having hoes since forever. Check my background. AMS started getting a couple girls in his older life when he started reading all these goddamn books. So you're getting game from the master. And I say that humbly. That might sound cocky, but if you knew the truth of what I've really done on the planet Earth, as far as these hoes go, as far as this pimping goes, hey, I'm the one, you dig? And I'm saying that humbly. It's an understatement on the actual reality. You dig? But yeah, no disrespect to the brother, obviously. Legend, you're right. We do both talk about mindset. I haven't watched a lot of his videos, but we also both obviously talk about women. I think his perspective that he provides is a lot more framed in the context of the pickup artist language. Like I hear him use common terms that a lot of pickup artists use. Me, I'm just talking game from a practitioner who's really been in there. He's more so talking about it through, strategy and manipulation of the female. I'm telling you to be who you really are and to be the best of who you are. I'm helping you understand the female nature and helping you navigate that. I think he's really trying to tell you how to like strategize and portray yourself in a way that will appeal to the female nature. I'm telling you to maintain who you actually are and be a great man and then bend her nature to appreciate you. But it's all from different angles. Just like some people go to Christianity and they mess with Jesus, some people go to Islam and mess with Muhammad. So I'm a true believer that whatever works for you, use that. And I love to see anybody shining and being successful. So shout out to AMS. But I would never lie to you and tell you that I don't have the best game in the internet. That would just be untrue. Oh, absolutely, brother. Be successful. Church. I'm glad you guys understand what I'm doing out here. Quote, AMS is more than just learning to pump and dump a girl. Over here, it's more in depth and it's more spiritual. It's a different vibe, if you get what I mean. Exactly. Like, I talk about women because that's what people are interested in. In reality, I care very little about women as a general concept. And that's because a billionaire doesn't care very much about pennies because he got a lot of pennies. Same thing. I've had women my whole life. When I was a kid, I was like 7 years old. My first kiss was from these two mixed twins that live next door to my grandma. They're named Krima and Anissa. And they pinned me down in my grandma's front yard and just kept kissing me. My whole life has kind of been like that. You dig? So I never had to really stress over chicks. But what I had to work on is spiritual development, intellectually sharpening my mind, improving my disciplines, making sure that I believe in myself, that I live as a winner every day. Even when a winner loses, they lose like a winner. When I lose, I look good. And that's what I want you to have, is a winner mindset. And that's what I'm really here for. Exactly. And another thing I want to talk about is like, there's so many different ways to do anything. When I talk to you guys, I'm not promoting pimping. I'm promoting your ability to hustle your way in or out of any situation that you see. That's what a pimp is, the top flight of hustler. A pimp is the one who has, people say mouthpiece, but if you really peel back the onion, a pimp is not about mouthpiece. A pimp is about the mental game. You can't have a mouthpiece unless your mental is together, right? You can't say something intelligent unless you thought something intelligent. And so the pimp is really a master of thinking. And that's what I want you guys to be able to do, is to think your way in and out of any situation. That's the key. And you can only do that when you're constantly sharpening the mind and when you're spiritually enriched. Because I truly believe that if you're out doing rotten things all the time, that's going to weigh down on you. When you do good things, you're going to smile brighter. People tend to think pimping is always a bad, negative thing. That's not true. There are many pimps that take women out of poverty and for the first time take them to places they've never been, put money in their hand because the woman's lived with drug addictions and they spent all their money frivolously, or they've never been able to collect money. So the pimp provides a structure, just like a good father or a good husband provides structure, order, and guidance. He's doing the same thing for a woman who is lost, because realistically, a pimp doesn't pimp on a woman who has her together. A pimp pimps on a woman who needs her put together. You understand what I'm saying? So they're bringing a value. No one gets paid for nothing. A pimp doesn't get paid because he takes the money from a woman. Hey, baby, put it in my hand, stick it to my mitt. And the woman lays the money in your hand because she's paying for the value that you have delivered to her. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Abdullahi Musa actually is one of my patrons. So I thank you for your support. How do you get yourself out of a funk when your environment is dragging you down on a daily basis while not being able to leave that environment? How do you stay sane? That is a good question. I am sorry to hear that, number one. Number two, you can always change your environment at some level, unless you're in like Alaska and it's snowing outside and it's too cold to go outside. So one, you do have my, you're one of my patrons, so feel free to DM me and we can talk through some specific details, because your environment could be the individuals at your home, the individuals at your job. Your environment could be a lot of different things. You can go for a walk. You can go for a jog. You can engage in inspiring content on YouTube. You can listen to Tony Robbins on your Spotify. There are different things to take your mind away. But at the end of the day, you have to look at the root cause, meaning the biggest problem, and attack that. If it's your environment, don't say you can't change it right now. You actually can. There's so many things that you can do. And we need to think about that and start making a plan where you can make incremental improvement. I'm hopping off soon.
An hour and 45 minutes.
I know I'm way over time, right?
Way over.
Okay, folks, I appreciate you all tuning in. We're going to end this the way that we always end this. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up the Creed of the Assassin right now. I gotta roll out. I'm trying to do a screen share. How do I do that? Okay. Whoa. All right, folks. With conviction, with purpose, with intention, repeat after me. I am going to be who I truly am because I am remarkable. And I will strive every moment to show the greatest part of who I am. My people, Mi gente, I appreciate you being here with me for another session of Church. We will talk soon. Please keep me appraised of all of your activities and all of the ways that you're showing the greatest part of who you are. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Wishing you a solid night of sleep and that you wake up strong and you wake up invigorated and you wake up with the creed of the assassin on your tongue and you go out in your day and show the greatest part of who you are. Good night.